How are you guys? Well, today the topic is about how to choose a tennis racket. But first, I want to let you know and explain why I'm using glasses. Well, this is for to reflect the blue light. I recommend you guys if you read a lot in laptops and our smartphones, so use it. This is to make our eyes rest. Well, how to choose a tennis racket? What do you need to know about it? So this is a topic that people have asked me through the years. So I think it's very important to know how to choose a racket. I know it looks like very simple to do it, but it's not. On the market, we know that there are a lot of different rackets, different brands, different styles of rackets. So it's kind of hard to know what type of racket is yours. People mostly choose a racket because of Rafa and Nadal, the famous people that are on the tour. But should be something else. Well, in this video I will explain you how to choose a tennis racket, and on the internet I haven't seen this type of information out there. I have seen like tennis drills and people hitting well and matches and all that, professional tennis players playing, but I haven't seen like this kind of questions respond. So if you want to know more about this, you should see the video. So we're gonna talk about different stuff. So here I will show you the outline. Well, we're gonna start talking about why it's important to choose a racket, different types of frames, longer or shorter rackets. Does this influence in racket style? The first question, why a racket is important. The racket is the second factor that produces more speed on the game. The first one is our own body. I mean, you should train your body, physical training, and to know how to use elastic power, and then you should know how to use the racket. The racket is our leverage. So this will provide a lot of speed on the game. So to know how to use a racket properly is very important. The racket will adapt in terms of the game style of the player. So a player will feel different using another racket than or will prefer using certain type of racket than another one. So I will explain later more about this. And a racket is very important because it will decrease injuries. So I will explain more about this later. This is something that I have to say. Well, we will do a comparison between the wooden rackets and the modern rackets nowadays. Well, wood rackets, it's surprising, but wooden rackets produce less vibration than modern rackets. Wooden rackets produce 90 Hz and modern rackets produce 150 Hz. So this is very important in terms of prevent injuries. Well, there are different types of frames. There are square frames and rigid. There are aerodynamics frames, flexible, bigger and thinner frames. So what we should know about this, well, it depends about vibration. So certain types of frames produce more vibration than others. Square frames, for example, they're more rigid than the aerodynamics frames. They are more flexible. Bigger frames, they are more stable and they produce less vibration than the thinner frames. Also, this is very important to say, in less rigid frames, in more flexible frames, the ball will lose speed because the racket, well, the ball, when impacts the racket and the string, the frame will be bent a little bit, and at that time the ball will lose that energy forward. So in more rigid frames, the ball will gain that speed. So that's something that you should consider when you choose a racket. Also, with bigger frames, you will have better sensation of that vibration than in thinner frames, and you will have that soft sensation than in thinner frames. So that this will adapt on your style, and we will talk about a little bit more about that later. As I told you, well, vibration can cause injuries. So what causes the frequency of vibration? Well, injuries. So it's very important to know how to test when a racket has more vibration than others. And for example, if you are a person that has injury, elbow injuries, or your elbow hurts, you should choose a racket for you. And well, in another video, I will explain more about strings and what that provides. So how to test the frequency of a racket in order to vibrations. So if you are a person that has elbow injuries, you should consider this. So here you will see how to test this frequency of a racket, taking the racket on the neck and do some hits, and you will see and you will hear the vibrations that the racket produce. Do the strings influence? Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, strings are very important. If you want to know more about strings, that is a very good complement for the racket. You you can subscribe, and I will explain later on other videos about it. So strings can decrease the vibration of a racket more. So as in prior, I said that modern rackets produce 150 hertz. Now adding strings, the vibration will be decreased. So if you choose better, strings will decrease even more. Longer or shorter rackets? Well, this depends. For example, in my case, I'm smaller than the average of tennis players, that they are 180. Well, in my case, that for me is an advantage, because it will give me more length, and on serves I will have more reach, and well, that will makes me serve, let's say, better. But I will have less mobility, so this is something that we should take in consideration. The standard racket, well, this is the normal racket. The normal racket will be good for tall guys, because they will gain more mobility on the racket. But I mean, for everybody's good, the normal racket. This also will you will gain more speed, head speed, and this will be good for you to, when you have to anticipate the ball and you don't have enough time. This is very good to choose a standard racket. So you will be able to to decide which racket do you want, but you should try some shots and you will be able to decide. So here we are on the style part. So in people that they need powerful serves, shorter rackets like the standard racket will provide them more head speed. For returners, well, the standard racket but with bigger frames will help them, because you will gain that sensation and you will be able to move the racket fast. In ground stroke players, well, they should choose a racket with bigger frames, and or if they hit so hard with thinner frames, and because that will make them hit faster. And if they hit usually on the on ground strokes, that means they will have enough time to hit the ball, so they don't need um, even lighter rackets or the standard racket. So they will need maybe thinner frames or the plus racket. For the serve and net guys, they could use a bigger and a thinner frame, because as I said before, that this will give them more power and length. So this will be good. And for two-handed backhand, they could use everything. I mean, when you grab the two-handed backhand, you have support, so you can use a thinner frame or a bigger frame or a shorter or the standard racket. In terms of grip, this is very important, and I will show you here on the video how to do it, how to choose a racket in terms of grip. So you should have one finger space with this finger, because the smaller grips will make you grab the racket harder, and this will make you lose that feeling, that sensation when you are going to hit the ball, that hand mobility. And with bigger grips, this will make you slide the racket and make you lose energy transmission. So it's important for you to choose good grip. And well, there's a study that says that, I mean, you don't have to take the racket as hard to make good precision shots, because I mean, for the ball to get out from the string, it just needs zero point 0.3 milliseconds, and for you to provide that strength, it takes 0.5 milliseconds. So if you like this video, please thumbs up, and please subscribe. I will be talking more about this kind of topics that I haven't seen on the internet, and they are very important in order to help the people with tennis. So if you like this video, please thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will be sharing more information with you about the strings, about the sweet spot. That is very important. It's good for us to share more information and learn more about tennis, because tennis, well, at the point that you are increasing your level, the distance of improvement is shorter. So you need to take all this in consideration, and in order to prevent injuries, is very good to know all this kind of stuff, because tennis is for our entire life. So we should taking care of our health. So please guys, if you like, thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will be sharing more information with you. Bye guys.